Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. Off of the good and into the what we thought was going to be bad. Really didn't turn out to be bad. But
Not too bad.
1932
Yep.
classic White Zombie starring Bela Lugosi. Yeah,
And
such a great actor.
Madge Bellamy. I've heard of
Yeah,
Madge Bellamy before. I mentioned it to the wife. I was like, well, this name sounds familiar. She's like, I don't know, which is very odd because my wife usually knows
knows
every
everybody.
obscure actor, actress, they showed up one time in a
Right?
1960s sitcom. It's like, I know that guy. That was the guy who was in it. And it's like, well, wait, how do you know that? I don't know. That's why I love having her whenever we're playing Trivial Pursuit.
Oh yeah,
You win
absolutely.
every time. Joseph Cawthorn. I'll name the people. Bela Lugosi was Murder.
I
Murder
know, what a great name.
LaGrange or something like that.
Yeah,
Madge Bellamy was Madeline, the main female in the
yeah.
movie. Joseph Cawthorn was Dr. Bruner. Robert Fraser was Charles Beaumont. Now, he looked familiar,
He did.
but
He
I
did.
could not. I'm thinking he must have played mostly in silent movies because I watch so many movies. I watch a lot of old
Right.
stuff too. So he looked really familiar there. John Harrow was Neil Parker, and he's another one who looked really familiar, but I don't think he ever got to be a huge name. Brandon Hurst was Silver. Clarence Muse was uncredited. He was the coach driver that initially warns
Ah.
them about the zombies.
Yeah,
And what's funny about that guy, he's another actor that I have seen and stuff. I know I've seen him in
absolutely.
stuff, like in that, especially in that time period. Um, but I thought it was very interesting that he was uncredited, which is I know that he was a black actor, at the time they mostly treated a lot of their actors like garbage in general, not just black
Yeah.
actors, but in
Yeah, before
general.
the union, they sure did.
Yeah. But it seems very odd that he was left uncredited because he did have a speaking line. And I thought even back then, if you had a speaking line in a movie,
Yeah.
you got credited.
It could have been a personal choice,
Uh-huh.
or it could
Could
have
have been.
been just an asshole
He may
move.
he may have looked at the movie and went, I don't want my name in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. It could have been
um,
a personal choice.
One good little piece of trivia, and we were talking about this right before we started filming. Rob Zombie, the big rocker, got his name for his band White Zombie from this movie. He was evidently a huge Bella fan, but especially of this movie, so he named his the White Zombie. That's the name of his band. I thought that was very interesting. And did you know, before we get too much into it, did you know he's doing a Monsters
Yes.
remake?
Yes.
Do you know who's in that?
Yes. I've seen some casting, and I can't.
The the
I'm drawing a blank.
seventh Doctor McCoy.
Really,
Yeah,
Sylvester
one of the
McCoy.
original Doctors.
Oh,
I don't know
damn.
who he's playing though. I think they said it's Igor.
Yeah.
They introducing a new character named Igor
Huh.
for him,
I,
which I
I
thought
look
was
I
interesting.
look forward to seeing this. I am a fan of Rob Zombie's music
Uh-huh.
and his movies. House of a Thousand Corpses is one of my all-time favorite flicks
Right.
because it's just such a throwback to the grindhouse
Yeah.
bloodfest of the
Yeah.
80s and 70s.
I've never
Um,
seen any of his movies. So now because of you, I'm going to have to watch all these damn movies. Well, not
just
because of you,
House.
but you know what I mean.
Rob Zombie's hit or miss on a lot of things. People
Hmm.
love to hate Rob.
Right.
I
Right.
think in general his movies have been really good. I love the House of a Thousand Corpses, which goes into
Right.
the Devil's Reject, and then Three from Hell. I could leave it,
Hmm.
but the first two of that trilogy I think are excellent. And
Oh,
when you
really?
watch
Okay.
them, it is
Cool.
such a throwback. Oh my God, it's just
Yeah.
it's you could tell he has a love for old horror.
Oh, okay.
You
Like
can
old school
really
horror, like the stuff we were watching, or
yes,
old school horror from the 70s, or a little of
all
both.
all
Really? Oh,
yeah.
okay. Very
In a
nice.
lot of his music, he samples a lot of old horror movies. You hear a lot of old clips and stuff like that in a lot of his songs.
Never listened to Rob Zombie. I'm gonna have to
uh
get up on Spotify and just hit Rob Zombie and
just hit
listen to him
Rob
one
Zombie.
time. Because when I was in art school, I had a guy, freaking guy, loved Rob Zombie and he loved Nine Inch Nails for
Yeah.
whatever reason. And there was another band that he loved, and the name of the band just totally went out of my
Yeah.
Gore. Guy
Gore.
loved Gore. Now, I like gore. I've seen
Yeah.
gore at some shows that I went to a couple of times.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, they actually seem like nice enough guys.
Oh, I'm sure.
But this guy would have a headset on, and his music would be so loud. Everybody in class would just be looking at him, and you just see everybody all at once start wadding up paper and throwing it at him. Like, turn your shit down.
Yeah.
But that was my only, experience with Rob Zombie. I'm gonna have to actually listen to some of the stuff.
Yeah, I recommend listening to his music, and if you're going to pick just one quick Rob Zombie movie to watch, House of a Thousand Corpses. I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. It is a gory blood fest.
Right.
So
okay.
he doesn't hold to the older movie, the old classics, because the gore really didn't hit till the 60s. But it's, with great characters such as, if I'm not mistaken, several of the characters were named from Marx Brothers movie. Otis Driftwood, and the Firefly family. So there's
no kidding.
The old patriarch of the family is Dr. Satan.
That's funny because Dr. Satan was actually an old horror, finger quotes, for those listening on a podcast.
Yeah.
As an old horror movie, if I'm not mistaken, from the late 30s. Yeah, I think there was a guy called Dr. Satan.
I'm sure that's exactly where he got it.
Now it makes me just want to watch Rob Zombie movies more because I'm just like, okay, anybody who loves these old movies that much, yeah, I'm there. I'm definitely going to be there.
Definitely check out House of a Thousand Corpses. As far as albums, you can probably just shuffle on Spotify.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do because I need to hear.
Hellbilly Deluxe is a great album.
Yeah.
So that was the one that has Dragula and some others. I know you've heard and you would recognize it. But yeah, definitely. Holy shit, yeah.
There is one thing I'm sorry. Hello, everybody. We're back.
Hey, yeah, we are back.
We're back. There is one thing that I thought was very odd about the movie.
We're on White Zombie, not Rob Zombie. Okay.
Yeah, we're back in the White Zombie movie. Okay. Now I'm interested in Rob Zombie. Now I just got to watch stuff.
I can't recommend him enough.
But they're in the mill. In the very beginning of the movie, that Coach Tripp is coming in, and I think Dr. or Mr. What was that guy's name again? Beaumont, Charles Beaumont, the main antagonist, or one of the main antagonists of the movie, is going to this guy's sugar mill, and they're showing the grinder, right? And they're showing the zombies walking. That was a really kick-ass scene. I mean, that sound, I actually made a note. Like the sound of that mill was really creepy, of the zombies pushing that big wheel around. They're just walking in a circle, pushing the wheel. That was really creepy. But I thought that was going to come back. Like they spent a lot of time on that mill. They showed you throwing stuff into the mill, and I'm like, I wrote it down. It's like, oh, that's foreshadowing. If I've ever seen foreshadowing in a movie. That's the gun on the mantle right there.
It was, but they foreshadowed just a few seconds in when a zombie fell in. It's like, are you kidding me already?
Right.
But I see what you're saying. That would have been a great setup for the end of Murder. But
that's what I thought they were. I thought that was going to be someone's big end.
Yeah.
And I don't mean bottom. But I mean, like, that was going to be the ending of someone happening in the movie. Yes, I over-explain everything.
It's quite all right.
But I thought that was very odd that they didn't go back to that.
It is. There's a lot of oddities in here. I do have I have a lot of critique or criticisms about this movie, even though I enjoyed it. I think it has some major flaws.
Well, it's very much a movie of its time. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, but go ahead. Yeah. I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh no. The main thing for me is it's short. It's only 65 minutes long.
Yeah, it's not long.
Just over an hour. There is so much left out of this movie. So much. You have the meeting of Beaumont and Madeline, was it? Or
Yeah, Madeline. It's not even in it.
In New York. Mm-hmm. You only find out about this because they're talking. And it's like, okay, now you're saying, not showing. And it's like, oh, come on now. This could have been a great setup to show just how Beaumont fell in love with her and
Right.
developed this idea to lure her down to Haiti to
Right.
his place, his plantation.
Hmm.
Um, but we don't see all of that, and
No, no, we don't.
it becomes the Reader's Digest, abridged, condensed, short
Right.
version of a feature film, and that is the problems I have with it. It is a product of its time. When we're watching an old movie, I think this one is due
Hmm.
for a major restoration. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought the sound was pretty bad, and there was some edits that obviously some footage got lost or something because there were some big jumps a few
And
times.
I think you could fix that, especially the
Oh,
visual aspect
oh,
of
it
it.
could definitely, if they have the film, it could look gorgeous right now.
They definitely need to clean it up and clean up the sound. There was a lot of problems with the sound because there was a couple
Oh
times
yeah,
where I had to stop it and go back and say, what did they just say?
yeah,
Um, Bela Lugosi, there's a couple of shots of him when he's talking to Beaumont or he's talking to someone, and they do the upshot, and he's just like this creepy, really
yeah.
creepy looking guy. That was nice. Um, I gotta go get my dogs again. I'm sorry. And he's standing there, and they got the nice upshot, and you can definitely see his goatee mustache thing going on. But they do that a couple of times when he's doing something really evil. When he's talking Beaumont into taking the medicine, the zombie whatever
Yeah.
powder to let Madeline sniff it or drop it in a
Hmm.
drink to get her. And Beaumont's like, I don't want it, I don't want it. And he's like, you should take it, you should take it. And it's like
Yeah.
it's almost uh, blatant. What's the word? It's very striking, the upshot
Yeah.
for against him, but it's not overdone. Like they could have very easily lowered that camera too much, but this was just a really nice. You know he's evil. I mean, just with that
Yeah.
camera angle, you're like, he's definitely the bad guy. He's not doing this man any favors right now.
No, and that's one of the things. I mean, that's a great thing, and a lot of filmmakers or cinematographers use stuff like that. You know, we're
Yeah.
going to the angles are going to show somebody who's more powerful, or
Right.
just
Right.
based on heights of things and the way it's set up, or the tilt of the camera to make the whole scene tilt just a little bit,
Right.
or
Right.
going handheld to make it even the audience uneasy. But
Right.
when
Right.
we're talking about that, this is 1932, and I
Hmm.
saw something in this movie that I hadn't seen or don't recall seeing, and I'm just going to preface this with talking about Ang Lee and his movie The Incredible Hulk. And when
Oh,
that
the
came,
bad one.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was
Oh, I know what you're going to
horrible.
say. Go ahead. I
The
think I know.
comic
I
book
think I know where
panels,
you're going with that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they
Yeah.
made a big deal over it. Here it is. He's introducing comic book panels, and
Yeah.
it was a great way to edit and show things going on at the same
Uh huh.
time.
Right.
White Zombie did it in 1932. I about
Yep.
shit when I saw that, and it's like,
Yep.
oh, beautiful.
Did it several times
Yes,
in the movie.
multiple times.
I like when Madeline first. I think she just gets drugged,
Hmm.
and the husband is like, "Here, read my future in the cup," because I guess she must have had some kind of psychic power or something because she winds up breaking it. But she's looking in the cup and she sees Bella's face.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a nice shot because I can't think of any horror movie of that genre or period that did that. And then,
No.
like you said later on, he's against the shadow, and in the shadow is her.
Hmm.
Again, she shows up, and that's a nice little comic book thing.
They did it a few times. Yeah.
And then I know the one time he's laying down. How the hell did he get sick? He's sick on the beach.
I don't know.
And the doctor's taking care of him. And I'm like, did I miss something?
We
And I
missed a lot in this
rewound, but I
movie.
did. I'm like,
There's-
well, when did he get sick? What the hell happened?
Honestly, I figured I missed something because I had so much trouble hearing this movie. I should have turned on subtitles. But
Yeah.
I don't know
Next
why
time.
he got sick. Yeah, next time I'll
Yeah.
turn on the subtitles. I don't know why he got sick. I didn't understand that. That was kind of weird. And I do believe this movie just suffers from, we've got 65 minutes. Bam.
Right. And like you said, I think they're missing something happened to this movie. There's obviously footage missing. I would
something
say there's
missing.
at least a good 10 or 15 minutes of film footage missing
Yeah.
in this movie Now, whether it was missing from its initial cut, like you said, we only have 65 minutes. We need, this is a 3-movie matinee for this Saturday. We got to get this movie out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or whether over the years it had been damaged
It
and
could
clipped
be
here and clipped there for putting it onto television, like old shows like Sir Graves Ghastly or The Ghouls that I used to watch in Michigan. Or whatever horror shows were shown down here or up in Indiana where you grew up. Maybe that they just edited it and it's just been lost. I hope somebody like Rob Zombie is looking for it. Because if he gets this, if he can get his hands on this film and put it all back together, that could very well be a winner.
Well, it's interesting.
It's interesting. Like you said, it's got a lot of meat on those bones.
Well, there's a lot of meat to this story, and I'm watching this the whole time, and it's like if anything needed a remake, it's this one.
Yeah.
And it needs to be done properly. And there's a lot of story that's not shown in this that needs to be shown, and I think this thing could be incredibly intense and just a cool fucking zombie movie. This is a cool zombie movie now. I like it. It's kind of neat. These are not for our listeners. These are not zombies like in today with the they are shambling, but they're not like the give me brains and rotting and everything. These are obviously people that have appear to be dead, but they're not.
Yeah, he makes it obvious. Like early on, that one priest or whatever is talking. He's like, these people aren't dead. He goes, they've been drugged.
Yep.
And he makes it quite clear. And if you know a little bit about voodoo, it's very much a chemical reaction. It's a powder. It's herbs and stuff being mixed to give people the appearance of being dead.
Right.
And some of those drugs really screw up their brain. Like you're basically just a vegetable after you take them, from what I've gathered and read.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what's happened to these.
Going. Yeah. That's the line they're going in this story. So I thought that was very interesting. Very interesting in that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that's pretty much okay. Wow. I just derailed in my own head.
I'm sorry, that's my fault because I interrupted you. I got so excited. I'm like, wait, I know what he's saying.
No, that's cool. That's great. No, it's all good.
It
happens. It happens.
I do it a lot.
Right, it's all right. So the movie takes place at a sugar plantation in Haiti, and of course set on the backdrop of voodoo, which of course where the whole zombie thing comes from. And I guess I said all of that just to get the point. These are not your today's zombies. These are not your Walking Dead. These are people who have been drugged, and now they're under. This is the thing that needs to be shown in a remake is Bella's mind control. I'm sorry, this little hand thing and his intense concentration, which I swear that Widow's Peak gets longer and longer as he concentrates. I love his look.
Oh, you got to keep the look. If you do this movie, you got to keep that look.
You got to.
I might put some space between the eyebrows, though.
Yeah, he almost had a big monobrow. But Bella has such a great face. He's instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
And it's, God, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so, anyway, under the mind control. So basically the gist of this story is this rich Dr. Beaumont or whatever falls in love with young Madeline and devises a way to get her to his place. And I don't understand the level of stuff he did just to do this. This didn't make sense to me. It's like, I'm going to go to this mystical, exotic man who has zombies under his power and ask him to help me.
And I don't like him. He doesn't like the guy. He doesn't like murder at all. He doesn't like the guy at all.
No. He's actually quite rude to somebody he's asking a favor of.
You have to. If you're going to redo this movie, I think you definitely have to redo their meeting, their relationship together.
Yeah.
There
needs more there.
They'd have to have some major rewrite there, but the bones are there. The fact that these are zombies of that time period, all the way up until you get to Night of the Living Dead.
Yep.
That's when you start seeing the more modern zombie that's going to eat you.
Yeah.
I don't think zombies up until that point were really going to eat anybody. I mean, I don't remember
No,
them
I
ever
think the
eating
game.
anybody. They were just
Yeah, I think the game
kind of
changed with George
wandering.
Romero when he
Yeah,
brought in
yeah. So
Night of the Living Dead.
for better or for worse, that's the thing. But
Yeah,
yeah, the zombies they look good though. They
they did.
they
They
look
did.
pretty good. And the funny thing is, all the main zombies were all enemies of his, of all
Yes.
enemies of Murder Lagrange, I think is what his name was. What a great name! You're right. That's
It was a great
a
name.
great
It's
name.
just a
Good
There's a
look,
great
great
story
name.
here.
Yeah, yeah. There was a pretty. What was it? The wedding gown. Her wedding gown was really nice.
Oh, it
It was
was,
a
dude.
beautiful
I know.
wedding
I
gown.
noticed that too. It's like,
Yeah, I
wow.
was like, they don't make wedding gowns like that anymore.
So talking about beauty, the
uh,
set paintings that were used here.
that's one of my notes. I
Yeah.
literally wrote that down. I was like, holy crap, those are beautiful.
I was impressed with the interior of the castle paintings and
Yeah,
the you could see his hideout on the cliff face.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
not look
Those.
like Haiti, but okay.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Does Haiti have mountains like that?
I think a lot of it had to do with Bella, and my God, I can't look at him and not see Dracula. So
Yeah,
I instantly start
and I think
thinking,
that's probably what they were thinking at the time because this
and
came
his
out after
accent and
Dracula.
everything. I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh shit. I mean, you've already got that.
Welcome to Haiti.
Yes.
Blah blah. Don't do blah blah. Hey, kitty, kitty. That's funny. Uh, I'm sorry. I went into
Wow.
Transylvania.
I know.
Hotel Transylvania.
Well, you can't.
Um,
Like I said, you can't see Bella Lugosi without seeing.
I actually wrote that down, like about the sets and the paintings. And
Yeah.
what do they call those paintings? Matte paintings.
Matt.
My mind
Yeah.
went blank. It's matte paintings. The matte painting of the house when you're in that big
Oh yeah.
living area, you almost don't see it. I mean, I was looking for it and I could see it, and then I was like, but how did they do it?
I couldn't understand that piano was positioned just right. It really tricks your eye because
Yeah,
you see it's a
yeah.
painting.
And the stairs, because they had that
Yes.
stairwell going. They
Yeah.
had a stairwell. If you're looking at the TV, folks, this matte painting, and it's obvious. It's not obvious it's a matte painting. That's the wrong word. Because I had to look at it and go, that looks like it could be a painting or it could be a set. I'm
Right.
not sure. And like Scott said, there's a piano set just right, almost in the foreground. And then there's a stairwell that goes to the left of the screen, up and around what looks like a beam that should have been painted,
Yeah.
like some kind of column coming down, and it looks like the stairs wrap around it. But it's like,
It was a
how
great
did that
trick.
guy or woman who painted that damn matte painting get it so perfect? I don't know how to do a matte painting. I mean, I know how they work, but I would never be able to do one because
Well,
you have to do everything backwards.
yeah, and it's you have to think that you're making a three-dimensional illusion
Yeah,
that at home it's just like when we watched Elf. They figured out how
yeah.
to make Buddy
How
so
to
big,
push and
and
pull. You're right.
yeah, so they were doing that so far back, and I'm just amazed by it.
Well, like you said, the painting that they had of the castle that the sugar plantation that Bela Lugosi was supposed to be on that cliff face. Yeah, blah blah. He- the waves they had that made to where the water and the waves
Yes.
were rolling up on the shore, and you're looking at it like, I know that's a painting. I mean, I can tell that it's a painting. How the
But
hell
how
did
is
they
this
get
working?
the water waves over here? How did they do that? I mean, there were so many little things in this that are technically so well done, and if you did them today, I think you might be able to hide them a little bit easier.
Oh, you could hide them really well.
But my God, they did a good job. I mean, bravo to the special effects department in this movie.
Absolutely.
That sugarcane and the sound guys, other than I think it's just over years
I think
they've
so
lost
too.
some of their sound. But the creepy sounds in that sugar mill, oh my
God.
Lord!
Yeah, you could hear the grinding of the wood and the rubbing of it.
I was waiting for those sounds to make a comeback, like just be like a continual thing through the movie, and they didn't do it. They dropped them after that initial creepy, And I was like, that's something they should have just kept, like in the background, like when you're in the mill and shit.
It was unsettling.
Yeah.
And that was a great use of sound when they set out. And I guarantee it was purposeful. to do that. It wasn't just, oh, let's throw some sounds. They probably wanted to make it unsettling, and it was. It's a disturbing scene. It's kind of laughable when we look at the stuff that we've watched now, but looking at it for the content of what it is, it's disturbing as hell. It's just really, really fucked up.
Yeah, they've no will.
They've taken the will of people
that are walking that wheel. It's Dante's Inferno. It's when the people are on the wheel and they're just walking in the circle. That's one of the levels of hell, I think. It's been many years, but there's something like that in there. Like that.
There's so many hells, as we learned from Big Trouble in Little China.
Right.
It's the hell of the upside down people.
I love that movie. And you just walking in the circle, and the good thing is in that scene when it's early in the movie and they're in the sugar mill and they're walking in the wheel and they're pushing the wheel around in circles, they're getting the look on those people's faces, and there's nothing there. There's no soul. There's no will to live. There's not a will to die. They're just moving.
Zombies are a great allegory for society.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. And it was really interesting how they did that. And they were really good. The makeup, I thought, was really good for the zombies.
It was.
Especially for the time period.
That's one thing about this. Everything about this movie is good as far as the acting, the cinematography. All of that is good. My problem lies with it's too short. And I feel there's missed opportunities. And I still can't believe I say it, but it needs a remake. I mean, 90 years is long enough. We can do a remake after 90 years.
I think so, and I think you could call it White Zombie. Absolutely. I think
you should.
And I think you have to set. But here's my thinking: if you make this movie now, let's say Rob Zombie went off on a tangent. It was like, fuck it, I got the rights to make this movie. You'd have to make it in the time period that it was set in the original movie.
You would.
You know what I mean? I don't think you could or should bring it to modern day.
I agree.
I think it would need to be set in that sugar plantation time period of the 30s, you know.
Well,
Megalomaniac could get away with that kind of crap.
Well, exactly. And
island,
that's like what we said about the problem with Dagon. It was in modern time, and somebody could have got help somehow.
Yeah.
So they never explained that. But you could disappear in the 30s, Haiti. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a road right there. Walk.
Well,
nobody drives out of that town.
Yeah. No, they don't. They don't leave. They swim.
Yeah, they need their water. They need to, breathe in the water.
Wow.
That's Dagon, though.
But you're right. If it was redone, it does need to stay in there because it works, because we're dealing with voodoo, and we're dealing with the Haitian version of the zombies and that time period with the sugar plantations and stuff.
Right.
So, and that's why you would have zombies. It was a workforce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Message.
Right. Yeah. I missed the whole story, or part of the story, of why why the people were burying somebody in the road. It was to keep them from becoming zombies, right?
So they couldn't be. Yeah. So many people passed by, so they'd be able to. Grave robbers wouldn't try and steal somebody from the. Right. I know that was.
I thought that was interesting. I was like, okay, even if that's not real, that's kind of a neat story, you know?
It was.
Even if that's not a real thing, I don't know. And I go back to Madeline having a little bit of some kind of supernatural power too, because of her looking into the glass and she's actually trying to break the curse at one point. Like you can see her thinking, like she's not going down easy, you know?
No.
And that girl's eye, could her eyes have been any bigger?
I know, right?
Those big doe eyes. You're just like, oh, how can you hurt her? Look at her big doe eyes. And that just proves Bela was more evil than Dracula in this movie.
Yeah, he is very evil.
This was an evil guy.
He was, because, Beaumont came, and Bela knew that she was going to be a mindless nothing, but he did it anyway, because he was going to use her for whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, we know what he was going to do.
Don't even want to know why.
Yeah. Anyway.
Message.
Yeah, there's a lot of messages. In the end, they are able to kill Murder and break his control. This is my biggest problem with the movie, besides the story, is there's no showing why he does his hand thing or how he has this mind control over the zombies. At one point, he like acts a certain way, and he's you can tell he's talking to them. So God bless Bella, because he's a great actor. On you can see everything that's going on, and so. But they never explain that he has mind control and stuff like that. It's just really weird.
Right. Yeah, that needed to be explained. I mean, as we are growing up with movies like that, you just take it as, okay, he can mind control the zombies, big deal. He's mystic, big deal. But I think you're right. They needed to explain that. They needed to explain that he was magical, and that maybe Madeline had a little bit of magic in her, and he felt that, and he wanted that for himself, and was going to get Beaumont and this other guy out of the way, and he didn't care, for whatever reason.
I just had an idea. And Rob Zombie, if you're listening, this needs to be a mini series.
Yeah.
We get backstory of everybody. All of that exposition.
That would be real. Yeah, I could see
that.
Set
in 1930s Haiti, plantations.
I could see this as a 5 or 6 part series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good. I could see that very easily.
So if anybody has a lot of money laying around and wants to send it to Dave and I, we'll write the script, we'll produce it and direct. Just
I would
get lots of cash.
I would, we accept cash. I would definitely think about rewriting this if it was
absolutely.
I would definitely you could sit down, watch this movie 30 more times, and then go do some book reading, some fancy book reading about voodoo.
We do some learning.
Yeah, some fancy book learning about voodoo. Yeah, I think we'd be getting investigated then. What are you guys trying to pull? We're trying to write a book.
We won't talk about my Google searches.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So why do you guys need a guillotine? It's just for a movie.
Yeah, exactly. But,
my only problem with this was at the very end, they break Bella's control over the zombies, and what's his name?
I can't
Beaumont
remember.
Grabs him.
Oh yeah.
Throws him over the edge or off the cliff, and then he falls over the cliff somehow, which I don't know how he fell over the cliff. Clumsy son of a bitch. Like, he basically redeems himself, saving the girl and her husband and the preacher. And I'm just going to ruin it. He falls over the cliff, and there's like 6 zombies, right? And instead of like the death of Bella, like having them all come out of it and go, what the... I'm out of the nightmare. Yay me. Thank you, everybody. No, they all walk off like lemmings off the ledge. The little hole, the little opening was just big enough to walk through. Just all 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 6. They're all falling off the ledge. I'm like, what? Why? Why the hell
exactly?
The girls snapped out of it. Why didn't they?
See, that's another thing. It's like, what?
Why did that happen? Now,
no
I
explanation.
Could see, like, if 1 or 2 of them had gone over the ledge at the same time, I don't know, like seeing where their master was going and following them, and then like by the 3rd or 4th one coming out of it, like, oh, whoa, hey, I'm glad I didn't walk off that ledge. But they're just all like lemmings, man. Right off the ledge. Pretty funny.
It was. It was. So there we have it. White Zombie. Final thoughts on White Zombie, Dave?
I like it. I'm an old movie buff. I'm especially an old horror movie buff, as everybody and anybody who's watched this knows. I love old movies. I love old bad movies. This isn't a bad movie. This has got its problems, like Scott said. It's got there's definitely some footage missing. I recommend it. If you like Bela Lugosi, he's more evil in this than he is in Dracula. Dracula, it's because he's Dracula. This is why he kind of has to be the way he is. In this,
gotta eat.
This guy didn't have to be. Man's got to eat. But in this guy doesn't have to be this way. I mean, there's no universal, code saying you have to be evil. this guy's evil because he likes it. And you can see it, man. When he's dealing with Beaumont, you can see it in his face.
Oh, yeah.
He enjoys tormenting this guy. That's what he enjoys. So, yeah, I would say yes. How about you? What do you think?
I say yes. Movie is not without its faults, but we're talking 1932. You're watching a 90-year-old movie.
Oh, my God, 90 years. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so take that for what it is. It is a great story. There's great bones. And after talking to Dave, it's like I would love to see a miniseries. I could see how this could have so much depth, so much tension, so much evil. It could be really freaking
that guy,
cool.
He's a piece of work. That murder LaGrange or
there's a big story there, and we just saw a little bit of it.
There's more going on there.
Yeah.
There's way more going on there.
I definitely say watch it. Check it out. It's classic horror at its best, and I give it a thumbs up.
And don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and share us. If you're not, if you haven't joined YouTube and you're like, oh, I don't want to. Well, I didn't want to either, but I did. Only because I started finding a lot of stuff that I enjoyed watching. So I know it's kind of a hassle to do it, but if you can join and like us, it'll make us easier to be found by you. Like if you follow us, we're easier to find. We'll just show up in your little queue that you make. And it'll help other people find us too. Because I don't know what YouTube does, but they really do hide a lot of videos and people that I think need to be found. I find a lot of people by accident. Let me put it that way. And
it's true. And I
truly enjoy them.
That's the same with the listening to audio. If you please take time, give us a rating.
Yes.
Help us get found, share us, and thank you for all the new listeners that we just came out of nowhere. So God bless you, and thank you for tuning in. And if you've got suggestions, comments, anything, drop us a line. Take a look at all the links below. You can reach us multiple places. So next week, gonna try and find something bad. It will be old, and I hope it's bad. We'll try.
We're having trouble trying to find bad movies. Like I thought this movie was going to be a lot worse than it was.
Yeah.
And I had heard of the movie, but I wasn't really familiar with it. So I was like really kind of hoping for like a movie that I could just tear apart. But I was like, no, this thing's got a lot of meat on the bone. This is, this is actually a pretty good movie. So I failed. Your turn.
So I will find us something, and make sure you stay tuned, because coming up in a few weeks, we are going to do what we said we weren't going to do.
Oh, yeah.
We are tackling the Star Wars universe. So I'm anxious to hear how Dave and I differ.
Every Star Wars movie, every Star Wars major film, we're gonna cover. I'm not watching the Book of Boba Fett, because I don't have Disney. I'm waiting for that to go all the way through. I'm gonna probably wait until the next season of Mandalorian drops, and then I'll go in and watch all of them.
Right.
And maybe Scott and I'll do a special episode of that.
There we go.
But all the movies. Phantom Menace, the other bad one, the other bad one.
The 3 good ones.
Solo.
Oh, yeah. And the 5
Rogue
good ones.
One. The 3 really good ones. The okay one. The really shitty one. And the bad one.
I still, and we'll talk about it, I still think number 9 is not bad. I liked it better than 8.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I liked it better than 8. I'll admit. But
I didn't like it better than 7.
Why we liked it better than 8.
Yes.
And what we would change.
Yeah. So check us out, and thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Yep. Have a good one, folks.